like, you know what you guys are saying or what Dwayne's saying, it sounds interesting, sounds nice. But I'm afraid about investing because we talked about the volatility. So what are some things that you think people should know about before investing? And before you say that, I do want to say, I don't know if you guys have been watching on the news, but the Biden administration and Congress have come out with a new policy. And I think right now it's not official yet. They are negotiating, and that is going to have a major impact on investors. So you're going to want to stay tuned towards the end of our episode tonight, because we're going to be talking about that policy and how that's going to impact current investors and future investors. So
if it becomes law.
So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. But before we get there, what should people know about investing?
I think there are a number of things that people should know about investing in cryptocurrencies. And again, the information I'm about to walk you through is not just specific to cryptos. It applies to all forms of investing: stock, real estate, antiques. First and foremost, only invest what you can afford to lose. Cryptos are a volatile market, and they're going to continue to be volatile, I would say, for at least another 2 to 3 years. So one, don't borrow money or use your rent money or use your utility money. Use money that you have available. Two, keep in mind the crypto market goes up and down in the short run and the long run. I got into cryptos in late 2017, and I was a newbie, and I got in when the market was, and Bitcoin had at that time hit its all-time high of 19,000. I got into the cryptos when Bitcoin was at 17, and I had a small amount of investments, like a couple $100, and I rode that all the way down. There was a bear market for 2 years, and I rode it all the way down. It was a painful lesson. Yeah. But I say this not to scare you away, but I say this to understand, to level set with all of you. It's volatile, but if you're in it for the long haul, you will at least maintain the buying power of your money. But I will also say that you will the money that you invested will grow, just because of the larger dynamics that I discussed earlier. Mm-hmm. Number 3, you have to do your research. There are many scams in this space. They're called crap coins. You know the other word for crap. So you have to do your research. Where can you do your research? To be quite honest, YouTube is an excellent tool. There are many popular mainstream YouTube cryptocurrency channels. Also, investing websites that have cryptocurrency sections. And also, if you're really getting started in cryptocurrencies, I would advise you stay with the blue chips. And the blue chips are the top 20 cryptocurrencies that you can find on coinmarketcap.com. You can't go wrong with those cryptocurrencies. They might be a little bit more expensive because they're more established and they've been around for longer. Mm-hmm. But again, at least you will know, for the most part, that they're not scams. They're legitimate projects that have a long-term viability and use case. And the use case is basically, what was that cryptocurrency designed for? Mm-hmm. There are many different types of cryptocurrencies. There's Bitcoin, which is a store of value. You have the Bitcoin derivatives. You have cryptocurrencies that are for smart contract and DeFi, which is finance. You have cryptocurrencies for gaming. You have cryptocurrencies for real estate. The list goes on and on and on. So it's getting to the point where you can find a cryptocurrency for almost any industry or aspect of our society, but you have to do your research to make sure that you're not investing into a scam or a crap coin that will go nowhere in the long run or might not be around in a few months. But again, the dynamics are the same in the stock market. The dynamics are the same in real estate. So the opportunities and the threats are no different in the crypto market than you would find in any other type of investment market. So don't let the naysayers scare you away. Be logical, do your research, and buy small bits at a time.
Mm-hmm. I think that's excellent advice. And I do want to say, for example, like when I see for stocks, so when I'm interested in a stock, I don't just go and purchase a stock because it's trending. I usually look to see if there's an item or a business that I do business with for my business or my personal life, or if there's some type of service that I use, I basically buy a stock from a company that I purchase from or do some type of business with, because then I'm more familiar with that company. So there's some companies that have not gone public yet, but I have created a Google alert on my Gmail, so I'll get an alert when that company goes public, so then I can decide, okay, do I want to invest? So I already have some type of familiarity with said company before I purchase a stock. And I want to say, similarly to cryptos, you definitely want to do your research, like Dwayne said. The other thing that, as a real newbie, that I've done is I'll watch a couple different YouTube videos from different type of cryptocurrency YouTube videos online, and then I'll see which ones they're saying are trending or they recommend. Then from there, I do my own research. So I don't, if they say, whatever crypto, you should invest in this coin, don't automatically and go do it. Do your own research. So from my experience, I've learned that when I'm looking at a coin and wanting to make an investment, I always look to see what problem does that coin solve. And typically, and this isn't always, right? There's no always, but typically if that coin solves a problem, especially as it relates to gas, and in the future, we'll get into what all that means in the future video. But if it solves a problem within, I'm going to use another term, within the blockchain, then that may be something that's worth your investment. So once I kind of have an idea of what problem that coin solves, then I look for the white paper. And then you want to read through the white paper to see, okay, that gives you a little bit more detail into what problem that coin may solve. So that's kind of just something that I've started to do, and it's been helpful to try to navigate to not kind of go on a long chase of coins that may not really be worth it and may be like a fraudulent type of coin.
And I think in you describing your research and investment strategy, you touched on two very important things that I also want to expound upon. Mm-hmm. One, Kai talks about the white paper. What is a white paper? A white paper explains what the cryptocurrency is, why it was designed, and what problem it will ultimately solve. That right there is a huge factor in whether or not you should invest into a cryptocurrency. Any legitimate cryptocurrency should have its own website. On that website, you should have the white paper. It should tell you who the developers are, who the investors are, what their roadmap is, and then also any updates that they've been doing to the cryptocurrency or the associated blockchain over time. That's the other aspect of it. Kai mentioned blockchain, and I think for many people, they don't understand the difference between cryptocurrency and blockchain. Cryptocurrency is basically either digital, you can define it as digital money or a digital asset. What is a blockchain? So blockchain is basically a digital ledger. And the best way to explain this is to think about your checking and savings account, right? You have a certain amount of money that's in your checking account. You use your debit card. When you go to the ATM or you log into your online account, what you're looking at is a digital ledger of how much money you have, how much was spent over the last week or so, if you got any interest or the little amount of interest you had. That's basically what the blockchain is. The blockchain documents all activities related to a particular cryptocurrency. So if you sold it, how much have you sold it, the date, if you sent it to a different wallet, the date that it happened. And so I just want you, and in describing a blockchain, now you can see why in the guise of the fourth industrial revolution, they're pushing cryptocurrencies because of the blockchain, because everything will be documented now.
Right.
Every single thing you do, whether you sell it, you buy it, you transfer it, that's all going to be documented. And again, I just want to lay the groundwork. There are opportunities in the crypto space. There are also threats. The threat is once they fully push us into this new digital society, we will have no privacy. But the opportunity is that we know that they want this to happen, and whoever is on the ground first will always have the opportunity to gain. Now, you might think to yourself, wow, I'm pretty late in the game. You're not. According to recent statistics, less than 15% of Americans and less than 2% of the global populations in cryptocurrencies, which means that you are still in the first group of people who've gotten into this new type of money and this new digital economy. Again, this is what the elites want. They're going to push us into it one way or another. So we might as well get into it early, figure out a good investment strategy to either protect the amount of wealth that we have or to grow it.
Awesome. Great advice. And so just want to pause for a moment there. We just went over a lot. So drop below if this is making sense, and if you have any questions. I can't say enough about research, because you do not want to invest in anything that is a scam. Because there's no one to call, right? There's no like 1-800 number to call and say, I invested in this coin and it's garbage. There is no one to call. You just have to take the L. So research is so important when you want to do an investment.
And I want to add too, I would strongly recommend, don't just do research on cryptocurrencies and blockchain. Do research on the fourth industrial revolution, because when you understand the larger agenda, the larger trends are at play, then you can see how cryptocurrencies and the blockchain fits into it, which in my opinion is the real evidence. That's what led me to believe into blockchain and cryptocurrencies, because I start to understand the larger system that they're setting up. And everything that we see going on now with smartphones, smart TVs, smart appliances, electric cars, self-driving cars, all of that is 5G. It's all interconnected into the fourth industrial revolution. And again, don't trust me. Do your research. Don't just do your research on the cryptocurrencies of the blockchain. You also want to understand the fourth industrial revolution, because that's really going to help you understand why cryptocurrencies were rolled out and the role they're going to play in all this.
Awesome. So with that being said, we're running close to time. Time just really flew by.
It did.
So now I want to talk about what is going on with the Biden administration. I mean, there's a lot going on with the Biden administration. But tonight we're talking about crypto. So